Welcome to the WealthWise Show, where financial success meets informed decisions. I'm your host, the Wise Investor, and I'm here to guide you through the fascinating world of finance and help you to make wise choices. Join us as we unravel the secrets of smart investing, effective money management strategies, and the different realms of financial education. Remember, the information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and educational purposes only. Always consult a financial professional before making any major financial decisions. Now let's start the show. Welcome, guys, to another episode of the WealthWise Show. Today's episode is going to be sort of in line with the last few episodes about technically personal, but using credit and helping with financial education. And this is going to be tailored towards people who own businesses. And I don't mean just entrepreneurs. I mean like actual business owners, people who got a LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever you file your business under. This episode is helping them understand how a business loan can affect personal credit. So, how does a business loan affect personal credit? So there's a few. Today is not really an investment sort of related episode, but I'm still going to give out the disclaimer anyways. So please, guys, understand that this episode and my entire show is not meant to be given to be used as personal tailored investment advice or financial advice. These are just some tips and tricks and education that I am imparting some knowledge, so it's not meant to be used as advice. Please talk to your financial advisor or your CPA or anyone who is handling your money when it comes down to your business, and understand that anything I say on this podcast is for educational purposes only, so please use it as such. With that being said, back to what I was saying. So using business loans, it can affect your personal credit, but not all the time. And that depends on a few factors, because personal credit can be confusing at times. Then you throw in business credit, now you're talking about double the confusion. So typically, when people do own businesses, they typically want to use their business, especially if their business is in good standing, it has income, it has profit, it has revenue. People will want to leverage that for growing their business. But sometimes it can affect your personal credit. So when business loans affect your credit, it's typically because the institution that you're getting the loan from wants a personal guarantee. And a personal guarantee means basically if you're the owner of the said business, you are guaranteeing that you are going to repay whatever the terms of the loan is. So it's kind of like, think of it like you're co-signing for your business. So if your business stopped paying, you are on the hook for whatever the business did not pay. So that can affect your personal credit because of a few things. If they are trying to approve you for something, they're going to run your credit, which can leave an inquiry on your credit. And then if your credit score is not that great, the odds of them approving you for that business loan, it may be lower. We're obtaining obtaining a business loan using your personal credit can be challenging for some people. But if your business is, doing great, you got revenue coming in. I mean, I don't know people's circumstances. That's why I always say this is education and not advice. But, typically if you're going to have a business and you're going to have revenue, profits and things like that, your credit score should be pretty decent. So unless you're just starting out, and then that could be a little different, because what I'm going to talk about next is when people use, their consumer credit cards, they use their equity in their homes for business expenses. Then yes, if you're taking on more personal debt to run your business, and not using your business because let's say you're new, your business is new and you're using personal credit cards and things like that, understand then that does run a risk for your personal credit. So it's not as simple, or I wouldn't say simple, it's not as easy as just opening up a business, because I've talked about this a bunch. I've been an entrepreneur, a business owner since 18. I've opened many different businesses. I ran many different businesses. I sold many different businesses. And, understanding when you're starting up, it can be a little difficult. But, that's where, if you're using appropriate and responsible money habits and strategies, then, give some time, your business credit should start coming up to where you can use your business credit versus your personal credit. But not all the time. Some institutions just want to make sure, that if anything ever happens to your business, they can get their money back. So when business loans don't affect personal credit, there are a few certain types of business financing, like those that require a EIN number instead of a social security number. So if you're a business owner, you know what an EIN number. But for those who are casually listening who may not know what the EIN number is a number given to your business. Think of it as your business social security number. It's an employer identification number. And so, just like a social security number identifies you as you, that's your identity. That number is tied to your identity. A EIN number, or an employer identification number, is tied to that business. And sometimes, depending on the business, probably majority of the time, like if you have a large corporation, like let's say for example Apple wants to take out a business loan for something, they're not going to go take Tim Cook's social security and use that for a personal guarantee, because the track record of the company. So a lot of times, if you are in good standing, you got proof of revenue, you got proof of hey, we're going to be growing year over year, etc., then sometimes, they will require an EIN number instead of social security number, which is great because that's not going to affect your personal credit. It doesn't require, your personal guarantees. And using, if you are invoicing, like, let's say you've done the work. I don't know how, like, let's say you're like on a net 30 or whatever, net 90, and you've done the work and you're waiting for invoices to be paid. Well, you can use that as collateral. Another way to kind of eliminate the personal effects of using your personal credit for business loans is using things as collateral. If you own a business with equipment that, it equals to the value of the loan that you're trying to take out, put that up as collateral. If you own vehicles and things like that, whatever you can use, you can essentially use those things as collateral to help you get that business loan without using your personal credit. And so also depending on the structure of your business, if you have a LLC or a C Corp or a S Corp, that can also protect you from personal assets, your personal assets from business related issues. So always talk to when you are getting ready to do those things, because a lot of those designations are taxed differently. Talk to your CPA, talk to your financial advisor. If you haven't already opened up the business and selected the designation you wanted, and you're thinking about doing it, it's best just to talk to someone to kind of help you figure out the best designation for you and your business. And so the structure of the business, the legal entity of the business, can play a significant role in personal credit protection. If you're incorporated, that typically is going to provide more safety nets, that's going to provide extra layers of protection for your personal assets. That's why I say it's important to talk to people who are experts in this field and figure out the best type of, because the LLC could be one thing, C Corp or S Corp. Those are 3 different designations, and believe it or not, they can very well vary depending on the way you're trying to run your business, like the effects of those designations. And then also some personal loan types don't require personal credit checks and things like that. But also you can use, corporate credit cards. Those typically don't require personal guarantees. But depending on your business and revenue and profits, that depends on, if you're going to be eligible or not for those type of things. So, instead of using personal credit cards, think about using business credit cards. If you're new, that's going to be a little tougher. You might can get like a corporate gas card at one of the gas stations. But if you're trying to get like a Chase or a business platinum card from Amex, you're going to have to show that, your business has been in business for a while. You got revenue coming in, you got profits coming in, things like that. So instead of using personal credit, instead of going straight to a business loan, you can do, that to kind of help alleviate any effects to help your business grow. So understand too, just like, a social security number is tied to your personal credit, your business also has business credit. There is business credit reports and credit scores, and a lot of people don't know this. A lot of business owners who are small business owners, I'm not talking about the large guys, but a lot of mom and pop shops, a lot of, entrepreneurs who are just getting their feet wet, who just open that business, they don't know that they have credit reports and credit scores just like individuals do. So understanding how you run your business can affect future growth. And so if you feel like, oh, well, this is not affecting my personal credit, so I don't have to pay this business credit card, or I don't have to, pay this, be on time with paying my business loans or my business credit cards or things like that, it may make it difficult in the future when you're trying to grow your business. If your failure to make payments, defaulting, and all that stuff, it can affect your business business credit score, and then that's going to be very difficult if you're trying to grow in the future. Now, of course, just like if your business runs into a situation like in 2020 where a lot of businesses were shut down, that's understandable. But if you're not being financially responsible, then you're going to pretty much start choking the life out of your business. It's not going to be able to grow. So it all depends on the person who is actually, running the business, how they are personally, if they're going to grow the business successfully or not. And then also, if you want to get a business loan, consider, if you do have good credit, like I said before, why not use a personal guarantee if you are newer? If your business has only been open for a year or two, you're growing, but, you don't have that track record of longevity. So if you're good with finances and your credit score is not that bad, and you're not going to take on more than you can handle, that's something to consider. And so a lot of times, if you are a business owner and are a new aspiring business owner, just understand that sometimes it can be difficult growing your business if you don't know these things. If you have a business line of credit, sometimes that can, like I said before, affect your personal credit if you have a personal guarantee. And, if you miss payments, that's going to hurt your personal credit on top of your business credit, So just understand that it's important when you're dealing with credit, loans, and credit cards and things like that. Those things are utilized to help businesses grow. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can, do more harm than good. So just a small little recap. I know this is a short episode, but I think we're at 15 minutes or something like that. Just a little recap. So, business credit, personal credit, they're two separate things. You got to understand your business credit just like you have to understand your personal credit. You can get a business loan that does not affect your personal credit, but it is a little more difficult if you're a newer business without, that track record, or even if you're an older business and you're just not profitable. So a lot of times institutions are going to require you to have personal guarantees. And if you're using personal credit cards and home equity lines of credit and things like that, understand that those things are, directly tied to your personal credit. So yes, it's going to affect your credit. So be responsible. But you can also get business credit cards. They're a little more difficult to get business credit card. I wouldn't say are more difficult to get. The good ones, just like personal good credit cards, are a little difficult to get. The ones that give you the best benefits, all that stuff. But just like dealing with personal credit, just take your time, build up, if you run a company where, you got to physically drive places, get a gas car, use for gas, pay it off. And then, if you have a company that needs equipment, buy the equipment, pay it off. And I don't mean like, high expensive equipment. I'm just talking about I guess supplies. I wouldn't say equipment, supplies. If you need supplies every month and, let's say you're a clothing store and you buying t-shirts, and t-shirts are X amount of dollars, use your business credit card to buy the t-shirts, you sell the t-shirts, that's how business works. I'm not going to explain business, but there are ways to grow your business without having to put on burden on your personal credit. And honestly, it's also just a good idea just to have great habits with credit, because even if you don't own a business, these are things that you can use in your personal life to help get you better credit if you don't have better credit. So understand that the impact of personal loans on your personal credit, it varies. There's tons of different factors, from the legal structure, the loan type, personal guarantee requirements, and all that stuff. So it's really up to you, the owner, to figure out what is best. And that is why I always recommend to have a financial advisor, have a CPA, have a lawyer, things like that. And, it will work out. So that's pretty much it. We're at 17 minutes. I'm sorry if these last couple episodes has been short. These topics are pretty light. But going forward, I wouldn't say going forward. I'm not gonna say going forward. I'm gonna try to explain heavier topics. So like credit and all that stuff, it can be heavy for some people. But I really want to dive deep into, the behind the scenes when it comes down to investing and, the markets and things like that. And what I mean by behind the scenes, I don't mean like, trade secrets or anything like that. No, I'm talking about explaining things that, some people might want to know. Like, what is the S&P 500? Some people know that it's a strategy that it uses, 500 of the best companies in the world. But what else is it? Like, who runs it? Who owns the S&P 500? The NASDAQ, the Dow, like where do those come from? The history behind it. And so I'm going to go a little more deeper on equities. So, and of course, this has to go through compliance. So my compliance officer, I know you're listening to this. Don't worry. I'm not giving advice on equities. I'm just explaining and giving the backstory on some equities. I'm not trying to entice anyone to invest, but I do find that the equity markets are interesting, especially with the different companies. Like, I want to go do a deep dive in Apple, and really do some research on that company and break it down. Maybe have like a 2 to 3 part series type of scenario. So I don't know. Going forward, I might start doing parts, like, have a larger topic and then break it up into parts. So we'll see. If if you hear that I did not do it in the next couple of episodes, well, that's just me. I'll say I'm going to do something and I'm going to, put it out there first, and then I'm going to think about it and then decide later. But if it's something that you guys want to hear, let me know. Leave a comment. And say, yeah, we don't mind a larger, more heavier topics and breaking it up into different parts. So I think the next episode, I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see. So I appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another exciting episode of the WealthWise Show. And yeah, until next time, guys, stay WealthWise. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Simplicity Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Sub-advisory services are provided by Simplicity Solutions, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Any insurance, consulting, and education services offered through the WealthWise Show. The WealthWise Show is not affiliated with Simplicity Wealth and Simplicity Solutions.